Do I have skin cancer? I am 100% certain that I do. And I'm going to tell you why right after this intro. So hang about and we'll chat more about this. Hey everyone, Amanda here, coming to you from a way too hot island. It is super humid and hot out there, and I'm just trying to hide away from the heat by being indoors. Now, based on the intro of me asking, do I have skin cancer? You might be thinking that I'm avoiding outdoors because of the sun, whereas that could be further from the truth. Because even with me being 100% sure that I have got skin cancer, 2 days ago, I was out in the sun trying to get a bit of a tan. And you might be thinking, is that not being irresponsible if I think I've got skin cancer? Maybe, possibly. It's not going to stop me going outside and getting some natural vitamin D responsibly. So I went and did a little bit of research, and I discovered that there are 3 main types of skin cancer. So there is basal cell carcinoma, there is squamous cell carcinoma, and the most dangerous and the life-threatening one is melanoma. So it says here that melanoma is often called the most serious skin cancer because it has a tendency to spread. So it can actually spread to your organs, and that is how you can die from it. Then you get the squamous cell, which is the second most common type. And it says here people who have light skin are most likely to develop it. I am light-skinned, and I must admit, when I was looking it up online, to me what I have looks like it could be basal cell or squamous cell, and I've kind of fluctuated between the two, like could it be this one, could it be that one, but I've pretty much settled on basal cell carcinoma, which also it says here that it develops in people who have fair skin. It looks like a flesh-colored round growth or a pearl-like bump or a pinkish patch of skin. It says here that basal cell carcinomas are common on the head, neck, and arms. So pretty much they're common anywhere where you get sun exposure. They develop after years of frequent sun exposure or indoor tanning. They can pretty much form anywhere on the body, but it is more common on sun-exposed areas. And you can obviously get treatment for it. Now you could be asking, why don't I go get it checked out and find out for sure? Like, I'm 100% certain, but I'm not a doctor. Would it not be better just to have a doctor have a look at it and confirm yes or no? And the reason why I'm not going to go to a doctor is mainly because it costs money to go see a doctor to get confirmation of something that I'm pretty certain I do have. And then the doctor is likely to recommend treatments that I'm not going to go for. So I don't want to spend money to be told something that I know when I'm going to be doing my own treatments anyway. The other thing with basal cell carcinoma, and this is also why I think I've got basal cell and not squamous cell carcinoma, is because basal cell is very, very slow growing. And like I said, I've had this on my leg for years. It was pretty much doing nothing. And it's only recently that it did look like there was very, very slight growth. So basal cell carcinoma is slow growing. And this one is the one that makes the most sense. And you could even be wondering, is this something that scares me? Even though basal cell carcinoma is slow growing, it's pretty much not life-threatening, but it is still cancer. It is still like a mini tumor that's in my skin. Am I not scared? No, I'm not scared at all, because I've actually been following someone by the name of Chris Walk, who's got a website called chrisbeatcancer.com for years and years and years. And I haven't been following him because I've had cancer or I've been scared of getting cancer. I've been following him because regardless of a cancer status, a lot of the stuff that he recommends will promote good natural health. And so that's why I've been following him. And I find that when you have a lot of knowledge about something, especially when it comes to things like health, when something does come up, it's not as scary as what it would have been if you're completely ignorant. And I'll give you an example, a non-health example. So a couple of years ago, my husband, myself, and our kids moved up to an area in South Africa near Durban called Hillcrest. Now, Hillcrest, I knew, had more snakes up there than what I would have come across in Durban. And one of the types of snakes you would get up in Hillcrest, and it really isn't that far, like 30 kilometers away from Durban. And yet, because of its location, you are more likely to come across night adders, not so much puff adders, but night adders. Although like a puff adder bite can be lethal, a night adder bite, although not necessarily lethal, is still something you would definitely have to rush to the hospital and get treatment for, because apparently they're quite painful. And then also Durban is known to have black mambas, which also their bites are lethal. Also the Mozambican spitting cobra is also in that area. So there are a number of poisonous snakes, not as bad as Australia, but it still can be scary. That being said, I never came across any of those snakes before we moved up to Hillcrest. The only snakes I'd really seen were the common brown house snake, which are non-venomous, and bush snakes, which are non-venomous. And bush snakes are such timid snakes that they will run from you. They will snake run from you before you even have a chance to run away from them. And so I went and I looked up snakes that I could expect to come across, because also where we were living, we had like a little forest at the bottom. We were the house that was at the bottom of this hill, and there was a little forest. It was really, really beautiful. But there was also a lot of frogs, which meant that if they would also attract snakes. So I wanted to just be prepared if I came across a snake to see if I could possibly identify it. And it's amazing that by doing that, it really helped, it really alleviated any fears that I had about coming across a snake. And we lived there for 3 years, and it was literally in the last 3 days before we moved out of that house was when I came across my first night adder. And ironically, it was during the day. It was in our courtyard, and it was dead still because it had a frog in its mouth. And it's amazing. It was just dead still. This frog was there, and it was just very, very slowly swallowing the frog. So we could actually go super close to it and take pictures. And it was only once the frog was swallowed that it suddenly reacted to us being there, and it kind of went away. But it was just really, really amazing to see. And I was actually disappointed up until that point that I hadn't come across any snakes. Now that I knew about them, or I knew more about them, I still wouldn't want to handle them. But I now found them fascinating. And the one day I was heading out to work, and when I went to the front door, which was wide open, there was a snake right there, up like this. It was like curious, almost like I was trying to look inside, like what's in here. And I wasn't scared. I was just like, oh, snake. The first thing I did, got my cell phone, took some pictures, and I knew it wasn't the spotted bush snake because although it was green, it was thicker than a spotted bush snake, but also it wasn't scared. A bush snake is so scared, it is so timid, and they move super fast, whereas this snake, I got close up to it, took some pictures, and then it still wasn't moving. So I just got the broom and I just brushed really close by it, and I was like, "Shoo, come." And then it almost like it didn't want to go. It was like, oh. And it was just very slowly went back across the patio and up the wall and along the garden wall. It was very exciting for me. And I was just thinking, if it wasn't for the fact that I had already learned about what snakes to be wary of, I probably would have been petrified. I would have been worried, is this a green mamba? Green mambas very rarely come out of the trees, but they do on occasion, and they're also super poisonous. But it was fun. So just based on that what I'm trying to say is, when you become knowledgeable about something, knowledge helps to erase fear. And that's why I say that if I ever got any type of cancer, skin cancer can operate a little bit differently. It's like on the body and not like fully immersed in the body. What would I do in that situation? Some people would say, you think you know what you'll do, but if you ever really got it, you'd be scared and you'd go for treatments. And I totally debunk that and say that is not the case at all. I know enough about cancer and how to treat it naturally that I feel confident that if I ever got it, cancer, we all get cancer at some stage in our lives. We just don't know it because our immune system is able to get rid of it before it becomes big enough to be detected. But if I ever got cancer that was big enough to be detected, I can tell you 100% now, I would not go for chemo or radiation. And the reason for that, again, comes to knowledge. It's because I know enough about chemo and radiation to know that is probably the worst thing that I could ever do to my body, to try and get rid of something that I can actually get rid of naturally and that's not going to damage my body. I heard someone, I think it might have even been Chris Walk, say the one time that, and because Chris Walk also did not go for chemo, he managed to heal himself naturally. He did have surgery to remove some of the cancer, which he says even that he regrets, and then the rest of it he just went natural. And he's now been cancer-free for over 21 years. And it was Chris Walk who said that chemotherapy is just poisoning your body and hoping that the cancer dies before you do. And if you also look at what chemotherapy does to your body, the way it wrecks your body, it's something I'd be like, what is the point of doing that to yourself? And then you've got to live with the consequences of the effects of chemotherapy. Now, my mother's husband has recently undergone chemotherapy. He did not finish the course of chemotherapy that he was doing, but what he did do caused a lot of damage. He lost a lot of teeth. He had to go and have implants put in. It has caused such tummy issues with him. He's having problems trying to regulate himself. I've suggested that he take activated charcoal, which he's recently started doing. But he's had a lot of issues, a lot of dizziness and low iron and all of these things. And that's only what I know of. And that was also with a shorter dosage of chemo than going for the entire treatment. And I'm like, I just could not do that to myself, especially when there are natural means, especially as I've been using natural products and I've been discovering how good natural products can be. So why would I not want to try something naturally that's not going to wreck my body and it's going to build my body up? And also remember, like if you go for a treatment like radiation or chemotherapy, all it's going to do, if it works, if it doesn't kill you first, it's just going to possibly get rid of a problem, but it's not dealing with the root cause. What caused the cancer? What part of your lifestyle caused the cancer? So you could be getting rid of something, but you haven't gotten rid of the cause, which means that cancer could come back. So you're wrecking yourself for nothing. So it's better to look at what the root cause is. So that is the decision that I've made, that I would not turn to these conventional treatments, because in my mind, those are just money-making treatments. They don't actually work properly. And I heard somewhere, read somewhere, can never remember, about 80% of oncologists say that if they ever had cancer, they would not go for chemotherapy because they can see what it does, and they can see the results of whether or not it works. And a lot of them know it doesn't really work, but it is their bread and butter. So, as I said, I had a look at the different types. I'm pretty sure I've got basal cell carcinoma. Now, if you have a look over here, you can see the difference between basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma. And over here is another picture of a basal cell carcinoma. So you can see pretty much what the basal cell carcinomas look like. Now, this is a picture taken of what I have on my leg. This was taken 3 weeks ago and what it was looking like. And I think you can see just from the picture why I'm pretty sure this is basal cell carcinoma. So what natural treatments have I turned to now to try and deal with this little carcinoma tumor that's on my leg? When I first noticed that it had grown slightly, I started immediately applying DMSO, which I've mentioned before in my other videos. The video on 5 items that have natural products that have worked for me, DMSO is mentioned there. So DMSO, otherwise known as dimethyl sulfoxide, it's a chemical solvent that can penetrate the skin and other membranes. It's a natural painkiller. It is very, very safe to use. You can even consume it. I have consumed it. It does have a garlicky type taste or flavor. Even if I put some on my face, I can actually, it absorbs so well into the skin and into the bloodstream that within a few minutes I can actually taste garlic in my mouth from just putting it on my skin. So I immediately started putting DMSO on, and I was also putting on organic castor oil. I did not seek any healing benefit or reduction in size from using the DMSO and the organic castor oil. So I wasn't sure if maybe those products which are good with certain things, maybe this was just something I was not good at. Then I was able to get something that is considered to be a bit controversial, and I don't know why it's controversial, because it is a product that has been prescribed for human use for decades, and it works for what it's used for. And from what I read a couple of weeks ago, this specific product, although it is known for being used for one certain thing, it actually has got so many more benefits that are still being discovered. And if you haven't guessed it by now, that product is called ivermectin. So I've got here, I received some ivermectin tablets, and I received quite a number of them, which is great because when I had ivermectin previously, I only had 10 tablets, and to me that's just not long enough to do anything really other than to like deworm yourself, which is mainly what ivermectin is known for. But now ivermectin is also one of the natural, well, it's not really a natural product, but is one of the safer products that is now recommended for use in the elimination of cancer. That's what I'm saying, is that there are just so many more benefits coming out about ivermectin than just being a dewormer. This is obviously tablets. This is for human consumption. So when people talk about having ivermectin and you're like, oh, that's a horse dewormer, ivermectin is just a dewormer for animal. You get it for animals, you get it for humans. And it was just, it was villainized in the media, unfortunately, obviously during 2020, 2021. So I started taking these. Did I notice any difference? Not really. With regards to what was on my leg. But then I thought what it would probably be nice to try is cream, something to topically put on top. But then the problem with that is trying to get hold of some of it. And a lot of people were complaining that getting ivermectin cream for animals was cheap and easy, whereas if you're getting ivermectin cream for humans, it suddenly became expensive. So I then decided to do the next best thing and get some topical, I wouldn't call it cream, but a topical compound that is for animal use. So I got this. I got this product from the local shop, and this is an oral paste for horses. It says here ivermectin 1.87 W/W. I don't know, is that weight or something like that? So this is an oral paste. I presume this is a one application. You just squirt it into the horse's mouth. So what I've been doing is I've just been taking a little bit, because obviously you've still got to be careful, like if something is prescribed in a higher dose for a bigger animal. So I just have literally been taking a tiny little drop like this, and then I just dab it on. And it doesn't really soak in, because I'll have a white patch on my leg. I'll go shower at night, I'll come out and it'll still show a white patch there. And yeah, that's it. So I started using this 2 weeks ago, and it does actually look like there has been a bit of a difference. So this is a picture that I took 2 weeks ago, just before I started using the paste. And then it did actually look like it went a bit worse. So this is a picture from a week afterwards. I don't know if it could possibly just be the light, because there's a lot more light on it that could be making it look a bit redder, or it could just be the fact that the ivermectin was having an effect and it was just doing something to it at the time. And then a few days later it looked like this, and then this is a picture now that I took today, and it does look like it is less inflamed and that it could actually be getting a little bit smaller. But I'm going to keep on with this. I'll keep seeing how it goes, and who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks it would have gone. But remember, I've had this for years and years and years, so there's probably a lot of damage that needs to get resolved. I just need to be patient with it. I'm not at all worried about it. If it's basal cell carcinoma, which I'm pretty sure it is, it's not life-threatening anyway. So something like this for me is actually a good way to test natural products. I like to put things to the test. You can read about something, someone can come up and say, I've got this, and I could be like, you need to do this, I've read about it. But what good is that if I haven't, tried it myself? So I do actually find it, I wouldn't say exciting, but I do find it as a great opportunity for me to try things out and to see how it works. Because as well, if I do talk to people, if I talk to friends or family, and they might have an issue and I've had the same issue and I've had success or something, at least then I can give them, first-hand testimonial, as opposed to I read that someone of a friend or whoever did this and it worked for them. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. I will continue to also use DMSO and castor oil, but my main treatment at the moment is to use this oral paste. I'll keep putting it on. I've been taking ivermectin every day, every morning. I think I've only missed like one day. But I've been taking it every morning, first thing when I get up, now for nearly 2 months. And I probably have about another few weeks supply. I don't know. But I'm just going to keep taking that every day and just see what it does. So stay tuned, and I will keep you updated and let you know how it's going with my journey of self-healing a basal cell carcinoma. So thanks for watching. And I do appreciate it when people like and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you. These videos, whether long or short, do actually take a lot of time to edit and put together. I enjoy doing it, but I do appreciate Anyone who comments, who likes, or subscribes, I really do appreciate you. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.